Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back putting a positive spin on Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin was released in 1997, and it was one of the first movies Jason and I knew we had to give a positive spin at some point. With an IMDb rating of 3.8 out of 10, this is arguably one of the most hated non-horror sequels of all time. I personally think over the years it's sort of taken on a taboo quality. People seem obligated to hate it, whether or not they've seen it at all or in a very long time. I mean, honestly, is this a movie people are watching regularly? I doubt they're re-evaluating their thoughts on it. I can understand people being disappointed by the tonal change back in 1997, but overall, this is a really entertaining Batman flick. With that being said, there was a gradual shift from Tim Burton's Batman movies through Joel Schumacher's. They got a bit campier with each new release, and Batman and Robin is probably the silliest and campiest. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, this is the live-action Batman film that looks most like a comic book. I'll touch more on that in a bit, though. There are some funny lines in this, like when Batman says to Robin in the opening, "This is why Superman works alone." It's even funnier since he says it in a movie literally titled Batman and Robin. Michael Gough reprises his role as Alfred in his most significant role in these films, and he's my favorite Alfred. Pat Hingle also returns as Commissioner Gordon, and those two are the constants across these four films, spanning from Tim Burton's Batman 1989 through Batman and Robin. I like Chris O'Donnell as Robin, as I did in Batman Forever, when his character was introduced. And while I know he gets a lot of criticism, I also really like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. I've always thought he was a great casting choice for this, and I like the design of his suit. I also like the look of his minions, or as Robin calls them, the hockey team from hell. Going back to this one looking most like a comic book, I love the colors in this. I really do. It's probably one of my favorite things about this film. I also love the lighting and the look of the ice. The set pieces are massive. I love the look of Gotham City. Considering the source material, it's a good thing that this looks like a live-action comic book. Seriously, the set design deserves praise. It reminds me a little of Rob Zombie's The Munsters. And while we were watching this, Jason actually said the same thing. Now, obviously, Batman and Robin came first, but I just want to reiterate, that's a huge positive, because The Munsters has probably my favorite set design in movie history. No joke. The fact that Batman and Robin is even slightly similar is a big positive. Poison Ivy's lair is awesome, and I like Uma Thurman in the role. Bane looks cool in this, and I like that John Glover plays Dr. Woodrue, who creates Bane, and Poison Ivy for that matter. The scene of Mr. Freeze watching The Year Without a Santa Claus is funny, especially since it's obviously the Snow Miser scene. Another positive is Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Who wasn't a fan of her back then? I'm still a fan of her now. Elle Macpherson is another obvious positive. I really like seeing the grounds of Wayne Manor. I actually have no problem with George Clooney as Batman and Bruce Wayne. I know a lot of people do, but that's not a negative for me. I like how he has the Batman credit card. That's very comic bookish. It's just silly and fun and campy, and that's how you could describe this whole movie. And again, that's not a bad thing. If that's not your style, fine. There are plenty of other Batman movies to watch, but Batman and Robin is extremely entertaining if you take it for what it is. It's a turn-off-your-brain popcorn flick. Just enjoy it. Even if it's your least favorite Batman movie, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to hate it. I think a lot of people confuse those two things. They're not mutually exclusive. It's quite possibly my least favorite live-action Batman movie. Either least favorite or second to last. But regardless, I love it. I think it's a blast. And honestly, it's highly rewatchable, which is another big positive for me. Bane in the monkey suit is pretty funny. And I like the theme of working together and trust. Again, with the title Batman and Robin, it gives it some depth in that regard. It was cool seeing Coolio in a small role. I always remember him from Nickelodeon's All That around that time. The action scenes are really well done, and the movie is very fast-paced. Even with an approximate runtime of 2 hours and 5 minutes, it flew by. Jason and I honestly couldn't believe it. But that's because the entertainment value never stops. The action starts right away, and it's full throttle from start to finish. The Lady Freeze music sculpture was such a nice touch. Seeing the Riddler's and Two-Face's suits in the evidence locker was awesome. Now that's just plain cool. The catfight, or should I say, bat fight, between Batgirl and Poison Ivy is a positive. I like Batman's response to Batgirl introducing herself for the first time. I like Mr. Freeze's one-liners, and I have to admit, it's hard not to sympathize with his character. He's just so desperate to bring his wife back. You can't really blame him. The vehicles are top tier in this. Amazing. I mentioned this already, but rewatchability is a huge factor I consider when watching movies for these positive spins. And Batman and Robin is immensely rewatchable. I should mention the score. It's utilized well in this. And I love the ending at Arkham Asylum. Truthfully, I wish we had gotten a continuation of this. Like I said, Batman and Robin might not be your favorite Batman movie, and it's not mine. But it's still so much fun, and I honestly love it. It was nice to go back and watch this one again, after not having seen it in so many years. I can tell you I definitely like it more now than I ever did. So maybe you will too. If not, well, that's okay too. You don't have to agree. This is just my positive spin. Please be sure to check out Jason's as well. To which hated movie will we next give a positive spin? Check back soon to find out. But until then, what are your thoughts on Batman and Robin? Do you hate it? And if so, why? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.